What's up guys, Cocojobro here, and welcome to a new video where we are going to be going through everything that the PTB has to offer. That's right, we have a new killer called the Blight and also a new survivor called Felix. Also too, you guys are going to be introduced to a lot of new graphical changes. Like you can see right here, there's new changes to the generators, the pallets, the new shack. And also too, you'll see the unlocking animation for the chest is really awesome. It's really cool. Just a heads up too, you probably do not want to play as the Nightmare on the Springfield map or even on the Yamamoto map too as well. Because if you play on those maps, you're probably going to get a visual, a lot of different things are going to happen where it's just going to mess up with your visuals when you play as it. As you can see down here, there's a little bit of just difficulty, so avoid playing as him. The lighting issues are just bad. Also too, there is some new offerings that are going to be introduced into this video as well, so let's get right into it. If we go over to the custom game, we'll go over and see that the new killer is indeed the Blight. Now the Blight has a blighted corruption power. It's actually an amazing power. It's also known as the pinball machine power, and you'll see why. The pustula serum courses through his veins, corrupting his mind and body, yet granting him unnatural physical abilities. His special ability is Rush. Press the power button to quickly rush forward. Doing so consumes a Rush token. While performing Rush, the Blight cannot attack. So he gets 5 tokens when he first starts, and he has this rushing animation. You'll see here in the second paragraph, rush into a wall or an obstacle in the environment to slam into it. If the rush fails to connect with a wall or an obstacle, or if the Blight runs out of tokens, he will enter a short fatigue state and then begin recharging the tokens. So pretty much what you want to do when you play as the Blight is you want to activate your rush ability. You have about 3 to 4 seconds until you go into a cooldown, kind of like the fatigue after you use the nurse or when you use Feral Frenzy and you run out as the Legion. So within 3 or 4 seconds, you want to make sure that you slam into an object, whether it's a wall, a tree, whatever, and then it recharges again. Then you have another 3 seconds to charge into something else. If you don't slam into it, then you'll go into that fatigue state. Now his special attack is called Lethal Rush. Following a slam, which means running into a wall or an object, press the power button to launch a lethal rush, which just means that you're just going to rush again. Doing so consumes a rush token. A lethal rush behaves the same as a rush, except that Blight may launch an attack by pressing the attack button. So mainly your first rush just gives you full sprint, you're running really fast. Once you hit an object, then you're able to attack. So in some cases when you're playing as this killer, it's better to not use your rush ability and just follow up, because you run at 115%, just melee them. But in certain cases, if you want to put a lot of pressure, you can definitely use your rush ability to get across the map. Open maps are going to be your best friends. Alright, so let's go and get into the new perks that he has. So one of the first perks that he has that is, honestly, all these perks that he has is super awesome. But the first one that is really strong is Hex Undying. A Hex maintains the vile powers that flow throughout the trial. While Hex Undying is active, survivors within 2 meters of any totem will have their auras revealed for 6 seconds. When another Hex totem is cleansed, that Hex transfers to an available Dull totem, losing any tokens in the process. So if you're using like Devour Hope, for instance, yeah, you get your stacks, and say the survivors finally found Devour Hope will get cleansed. You actually don't lose it as long as Hex Undying is still active, and it'll transfer over to another random Dull totem on the map. This is really strong, especially if you're running Ruin with this character, because if they find Ruin, they can cleanse Ruin 3 or 4 times. And on that 4th time, they'll finally get Ruin. But the other 3, as long as they didn't cleanse any other Dull totems, Ruin was just going to hop around the map. And you'll honestly have this Ruin active for the entire match. It's really strong. Now, another perk that the killer has is called Hex Blood Favor. A Hex that grants the entity favor when blood is spilled. When a survivor is hit, pallets within 6 meters of your location are held in place by the entity for 15 seconds. These pallets cannot be pulled down, and the Hex is cooled down for 40 seconds. So this is super strong if you're in a loop, and someone gets super comfortable and you're running this perk, as well as your Hex is active. You can smack them, and pretty much those loops that have no windows and just pallets are completely obsolete, and is super strong for you as a killer. This is super good. Now his last one that he's running is called Dragon's Grip. After kicking a generator for the next 30 seconds, the first survivor that interacts with it will scream, revealing their location for 4 seconds, and becoming afflicted with the exposed status for 60 seconds. This cooldown is for 80 seconds as well. So this is like if you're a ghost face and you're stalking someone and how they're stalked and exposed for 60 seconds, or if you're like Mikey. But in this case, it's really cool, especially if you're having a bunch of survivors around a gen. You can kick it, chase someone, M1 them. If you get the alert, then switch targets and go after that one. Now you have someone who's injured and has to go heal, and you can automatically down another survivor. So this is super strong. Some of the things that I would probably run is maybe brutal strength with it, so you can kick gens really fast. Also too, another good build to run with him is running, like I said, Undying with Hex Ruin, so your Ruin can be out and about alive pretty much until the match is over, or unless they find Undying. But at least you can get a lot more value with your Ruin, especially since you're able to run really fast across the map and apply a lot of pressure. It's really good. And another thing I wanted to show you too was that there's actually new offerings in the map, or in the game too as well, in the PTB. So the first one I want to show you is the Sacrificial Ward. Calls upon the entity to reject all offerings that alter the chance of being sent to a specific realm. This can be only cancelled if 4 identical realm offerings are played. So that's if all 4 survivors play the same offering, then your one offering gets voided. So for instance, say they're trying to take you to like a map that they want to loop in. Maybe it's a team of blendettes and they want to take you to the swamp or to a Macmillan map so they can blend. You can cancel it out and hopefully you'll get a fair chance at going to like Orman or something like that as well, even though no one likes to go to Orman. Another one that got brought into it is Vigo's Blueprint. Tremendously increases the chance of the hatch spawning in the main building, if there's a main building. There's another one where, let's see where it is. I think it's this one. Yes, this one tremendously increases the chance of the hatch spawning in the killer shack. So now you can actually increase the chance of, at the end game, to know where to go to the hatch if you're a survivor or a killer, because these offerings actually show up in both killer webs and survivor blood webs too as well. So you can actually increase the chance of it appearing in the shack or in the main building. And then also too, you have the Blooded Blueprint. This one reveals the aura of the basement hook at the start of the trial. Tremendously increases the chances of a basement spawning in the killer shack if it has a killer shack. And then the other one is the Torn Blueprint, and this one lets you see where the basement is as well, and it tremendously increases it to be in the building. So we have 4 new offerings that increase the hatch to spawn in the main building or in the killer shack, and then we have 2 other offerings that help you to increase the basement to spawn in the main building or in the killer shack too as well. So that's really cool. That's awesome. Let's go over to Survivor. So for Survivor, we have a new man called Felix, and honestly, this dude looked like he looking like a snack. This man looking like a playboy, but he's an architect. Awesome dude. You can definitely read his story, and mainly has 3 pretty cool perks. Like sometimes one perk is only really good whenever they come out with a new update, but honestly, for both Killer and Survivor, the perks are actually awesome. They're really good. Let's actually look into it right here. So Visionary, I would probably say, is the best perk that has coming out. I would say about like 1 out of 3 games. Sometimes I'll be in a match and I'll be like, okay, I don't know where the gens are. Well, this is where Visionary comes in. You might be in that pickle too. You are remarkably focused on your means of escape. You see generator auras within 32 meters. Anytime a generator is completed, Visionary has a cooldown of 16 seconds. 16 seconds is nothing. And 32 meters is the distance of barbecue and chili. But at the same time, if you're in an indoor map like Hawkins Laboratory, if you're running through the treatment area, the hospital pretty much, a lot of times you can't really find generators. Although when you're in the treatment center, you can look for the blinking lights and that shows you where gens are too. But a lot of times these indoor matches, especially Midwich, oh my gosh, I hate Midwich, you're able to see where the gens are. So it's really cool. It's like as if you're playing Killer, but you're a survivor and you can see the auras that are within 32 meters. The next one is Desperate Measures. You refuse to fail, even during your darkest hour. You, for each injured, hooked, dying survivor, increase the speed of your healing and unhooking actions by 14%. So this one is really good, especially if you have everyone injured. Obviously you do not want to have that because that means that your team is doing really bad, but you can increase the percentage of unhooking, of healing someone, maybe even healing yourself. You can make self-heal or self-care a lot faster. You can use your med kits a lot faster. Personally, this one, in my opinion, is not really the best because if you're unhooking someone or healing, I would probably run where it will make it so that you can heal 100% faster instead of 14, 28, 42. I mean, you probably want to heal 100% faster, and you can do that without your teammates being injured. So I would probably run will make it. And the last one that I think is super strong is built to last. You know how to get the most out of your tools. Once per trial, a depleted item will refill 50% of its charges after 10 seconds. Imagine running a super fast Sabo toolbox or a gen rushing toolbox, a flashlight that has really good add-ons, a med kit like the green med kits that heal really fast. It's awesome. This is really awesome because now you can completely deplete it and not feel any repercussions from it, because you know in about 10 seconds you're gonna get 50% of those charges back, especially if you're one of those players who loves to do flashlight saves. Oh my gosh, I love it, but I get really sad if I run out of flashlight, right? So here you can actually get it back 50%, but still, that's awesome. So we have some really cool things coming out in this update. If you guys want to check it out, the PTB is live. I'm pretty sure it's going to be out for quite some time. The Blight is such a fun killer to play as. He's a really high skill cap, so he's really hard to use. But once you get the hang of it, or if you're a killer main, I feel like he'll be pretty easy. Just put in a lot of time, be patient with him. He's truly hard, but at the same time, he is so fun on those open maps. Also too, with Felix's perks, I think they're really good. I think you really want to rely on built to last if you have like one slot to use. I wouldn't use all his perks. Maybe Visionary if you're new to knowing the map layouts and trying to figure out where are those gens, I don't know where they are. I think Visionary would be super helpful. Desperate Measures, not so much. I think it's good, but I wouldn't really use one of your precious perk slots for it. Definitely Visionary if you're new and you need help finding gens. It's kind of like Deja Vu, where it tells you where your 3 gens are, and then Built to Last helps you to use your your items. And then with the homeboy, the Blight, definitely Dragon Grip is really good. If you again are probably playing with a lot of Swifts, as I know you probably will be experiencing that if you're playing as killer with a lot of console people playing together. Also too, Blood Favor is really good as well. He actually has a item where if you do a lethal rush and you hit somebody, it actually blocks the pallets around you too as well. So you could run this, but I would probably replace this perk with something else like Tinker maybe. You can sneak up on people since you're very fast. But Hex and Dying, I think it's a must. It is so strong. So if you're running any killer with any Hex Totem build, it's a must. It is so good. But that's it, guys. We're going to put out some more videos about the Moris and putting out a 4K video that I did on one of the hardest maps, indoor maps, the treatment. His collision is horrible, but we got the 4K. It's definitely a nail biter game that you guys definitely want to watch. So again, if you guys like this content, please hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new to the channel if you want to watch more future content on our channel. And thank you guys so much for the support. We're almost at 400 subscribers. I can't believe it. It means a lot, guys. I really appreciate it. So I hope to see you guys in the fog. Have a good one, guys. Take it easy, and I'll see you later.